What's up, Influxers? Today I want to address a question that I get a lot, which is what websites can you actually build or are a good fit for Webflow, and what websites are maybe you should choose a different platform for them. So let's break it down into 4 different types of websites: marketing websites, portfolios, blogs, and e-commerce. And let's break it down one by one. So let's begin with marketing websites. And by marketing websites, I mean websites of companies, whether it is, a law firm, a restaurant, or a startup company. And it can be either a one-pager or even a landing page with some call to action, or maybe a website with 3 pages or even 15 pages, or bilingual or something like that. I think in this case, this is the most ideal use case for Webflow. And the reason for that is that usually when you have those type of websites, you want to change them often. You want to change different texts. You want to change different, images. You want sometimes to change the layout a bit to, make it look new and refreshed every once in a while for a new season and just make it look fresh. And in those cases, you don't want to be dependent on a developer. So when you put them up on different CMS like WordPress, for example, you can change some of the text, but it's not very easy to do design changes. So if you want to change a layout, if you want to change how the hero is structured, that's going to require the work of developers. And a lot of times, marketers in companies, they don't want to be dependent on developers, or that specifically in tech companies, the development are really an expensive asset of the company. And so the marketing team want to be able to do things themselves, or just work with the designer and to be able to change the website themselves. And in that case, being able to also use Webflow CMS, but also use the designer to change things a little bit without having a developer who has to write code for that, that allows for a lot of flexibility. And from my experience, those are the clients who really benefit a lot from using Webflow, versus other alternatives. Now, the second part is portfolios. Now, for designers, basically there are tons of solutions for portfolios, from stuff like which is not even hosted on your own domain, like Behance or Dribble, and then you have solutions like Cargo or what's the name of that? Simplice by Tobias Weinschneider. So a lot of kind of WordPress templates. So there are a lot of solutions, and you might want to ask yourself, why do I need to build my websites on Webflow rather than on a template that already exists? And so I think that you have to ask yourself, if you're just going to use a template out of the box, then just go ahead and get the cheapest template. Maybe it's not worth your while. But if you want to have kind of a custom design that really shows more who you are, not a default layout of a portfolio, then you might want to build it on Webflow. That's what I did with my portfolio company, which is not really a normal portfolio layout. I got a kind of a section telling about myself and how I work, and with some logos, and then I break it down. It's kind of responsive, and so my layout wasn't by default like a template, and so it was easier for me to do on WordPress. And I don't mind hosting it on Webflow for $16 per month. Every time I have to do, add a new client, do a minor change in the text, add something, a logo, or remove something, I do it by myself. Don't need developer help. Don't need to, pay anybody else. I can just touch it and change it myself. So again, I think it's dependent on the complexity level. If you're just going to use something out of the box, there are probably maybe easier solutions for you than learning and building from scratch with Webflow. But if you want to do something unique, something custom, something that tells your own story, I think that Webflow can be a very good fit for you. Third thing is blogs, right? So there are a few, I would say 2 different types of blogs. Personal blogs, or blogs which are small, I would say, and then large scale crazy blogs like, I don't know what, TechCrunch, or like crazy blogs where you have 15 authors and gazillion billion posts and tags and stuff like that. I think from my experience, and I've built a blog on WordPress as well as on Webflow, I think that if your whole company is kind of a media company and it's going to be based on the content and everything as the blog is a media company, kind of, again, like TechCrunch, then maybe you need a more robust system like WordPress that you can add million plugins and stuff like that and have gazillion collaborators. But for a small company, from my experience, smaller companies much rather have the lean CMS of Webflow, which is much nicer, tighter. You can just edit visually and add new posts very, very easily. So I think for a more, I would call it boutique blogs, I think Webflow is a great fit. You don't need all the added complexity and hassle and start setting up your own hosting. As a designer, I hate setting up servers, installing WordPress, all that type of stuff for my clients. And so I think that if you're doing something boutique even for a client or for yourself, then Webflow is a great solution for a smaller blog. Last one is Ecommerce, and up until this point there wasn't natively Ecommerce. By the way, actually until now we're at the middle of we're in the middle of 2018 right now, and Webflow are about to come out with native e-commerce in Webflow. Up until now you had to do all kinds of integrations or add all kinds of other software into Shopify, PayPal button, all that sort of stuff inside of Webflow to create an e-commerce store. And there's a lot of solutions for that, but it does require other integrations. Right now, when e-commerce is going to come out, you'll be able to do this natively. And again, I haven't tried this because personally I don't do a lot of e-commerce, so I didn't get to do an e-commerce website on Webflow. I did see, and this is something that I do want to try, a service that's called Plasso, which allows you to integrate payments and even subscription websites really easily with one line of kind of HTML. And I think it's very, very ideal to Webflow websites. So if you want to do kind of a subscription website or charge on a Webflow website, I think this can be a great solution. I'm about to try this, but I haven't tried this before. And so for e-commerce, if you need something right now, think about this, but soon you'll have e-commerce natively inside Webflow, and that probably require a new video and an overview and see how that kind of compares to other solutions in the market. Whew, that was long, or I was talking very, very fast. All right, hope you're having an awesome day. I'll catch you tomorrow.